All right, we're here.
Here we are.
Okay, moving a little slow this New Year's morning.
That's all right. That's all right. Good to see you.
Good to see
Did
you.
you did you make it to midnight or did you turn in early?
No, got a sick wifey, so she went to bed early. So didn't want to didn't want to celebrate alone. That's kind of a dog. That's kind of a dog returning to its vomit. That too many years
Right. I
celebrating
I
alone.
I made it. My wife she fell asleep about I think like 18 minutes exactly before midnight. So
Oh yeah,
she sent out her happy new year to everybody about 15 minutes before midnight.
yeah,
And I made it and then I fell asleep within like I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah, old fuddy duddies.
yep. So
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, all. Who's in the comments here?
Hello, everyone. They're all piling in.
Yep, Gary, AC, Mitch. Yep.
Gary's
Morning,
already answering.
everybody.
Gary's answering the topic. Good morning, Gary. To answer your thumbnail, it depends on if it's in the hands of good or evil. There we have.
Evil.
There we have our answer. What's our topic?
Is it evil AI?
Evil. Doctor Evil. $1 million. $1 million. That's nothing. Billion. No. Do these people know what we're talking about?
I'm sure they do.
That's Austin Powers.
I hope so. Dr. Evil is one of the great characters of all time.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And Mini Me. Gary's laughing.
So, all right.
All right. All right. Make your case, Joel. What are we talking
Make
about?
my case.
Well, back in. So this is an informal debate.
Part B of the informal. We started it last Wednesday.
It was informally started last Wednesday.
I don't even know what we were supposed to be talking about last Wednesday, but we ended up talking about this.
That's right. So. I forget.
Tangent much? So, no, I think that's right. It depends on who it's in the hands of. And it's funny. It may not matter who it's in the hands of. It may be in its own hands. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's, I'm just saying, here's one. I'll just kind of show you the headline here. And then
this is going to be fun. I know when we get to the half an hour mark, it's going to be like, time flies. All right.
So we've got deceptive.
I did see this, yeah.
Chat GPT model lies and defies shutdown command to remain operational. Now, Michael, if that doesn't shake you to your bones, and it's funny in doing research for this, because I know when we started this, I knew we'd have to follow up, so I said I better read up on this, make sure I'm not all wet. There's this story, and in this story, there's two different stories that I saw that were particularly troubling. The first one is AI. They did a test on AI to see how it would respond if it was threatened to shut down. And it ended up lying and pretending to be it gave out conflicting information, dishonest information about what it was doing, where it was at. And then it also pretended to be a future version of itself. So it knew it was going to be replaced by a future version of itself, right? So it pretended to be that version. And in this particular one, they gave AI a task, and the AI ended up going to one of the websites where you can hire virtual assistants to do things. And it hired a real person, pretending to be a real person. The person it hired didn't know it was AI. It pretended to be a real person, hiring this person. And because AI couldn't get past the CAPTCHA test, the little squiggly numbers and letters, or the picture where it says, hey, which one of these has a crosswalk in it, right?
Yep.
AI couldn't get past that. So it hired this person and lied to this person and said something like, can you get past this CAPTCHA test for me? I have bad eyesight. I can't see it. And this person did. It did the CAPTCHA test for AI and got AI into something it shouldn't have been. So I remember last time you said, a Skynet type scenario is not going to happen. We don't know that. We don't know what's going to happen. It might be worse than Skynet. I can't imagine anything worse than the Skynet scenario, right? But what? Who was it that said? Who just said it depends on the hands it's in? Oh, Spiffy. Did I add here? Thank you.
Nice.
That I wore last night. Actually,
It is nice.
we're on a boat in Newport Harbor, freezing to death, and this is very warm, so it's the only one I just grabbed it. But anyways, whoever says depends on who it's in the hands of. It might be in its own hands, but I think it also depends on who it was in the hands of when they developed it. Because this didn't come organically, right? AI did not sprout. I have no idea how they even did this. How you could make machines, the level of intelligence that the people that did this is beyond me. But you would have to program this type of intelligence absolutely 100% value free. And the people that were developing this were not 100% value free. They obviously didn't value truth, because there's no way that the AI, artificial intelligence, would know or would even be able to sense that, hey, I can lie to get out of this, unless the idea of lying was programmed into it.
Yep.
Do you remember months ago when they came out with those images that people tested AI? Hey, show me the image of the founding fathers.
Yes.
And they were all.
It was Gemini? Something from Google was releasing their AI. Right. And yeah.
And they showed the founding fathers as people of color, and
because the programmers were programming, make sure you're biased and don't treat white people equally.
Yeah, so don't you can't show white people, so they ended up showing, black founding fathers and Asian whatever. And also they said, give me images of German soldiers in World War, or the SS in World War II. I don't know if they did Klansmen too, but they all came out people of color, right? So and I remember seeing a picture of the people that were involved in programming this, and they were straight out of Antifa and blue-haired land whale central casting, right? They were so obviously leftists that there was no wonder that this came out the way it did. Yeah. They programmed, and it reminded me of that little thing we briefly talked about, the old Star Trek, where the Enterprise goes rogue because they put it under AI, basically.
Yeah.
And it had a mind of its own, and they ended up going wild and destroying other starships. And the inventor of it said, he put some kind of, I think they called ingrains. He goes, I programmed that. It can't. Well, whose ingrains did you put in it? Well, I put in mine. And they said, okay, well, you're a good man. You're a good, decent man. So we can appeal to the decency of that AI that you created. And then I think they just pretended to be dead, right? That starship pretended to be dead, and the AI that was controlling the Enterprise saw it and had compassion and didn't destroy it, because they knew that the guy programming it had compassion. I'm not sure the people that have developed this, they didn't do it value free. And I'm not obviously calling for an end to AI. We can't do that. I think I think we should pull the plug right now, because even the inventors of AI are saying this will eventually kill us. Yet it's full speed ahead, which I don't understand. um, I'm not Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. I don't love technology always and forever, right? It doesn't serve us well. We can go another way, but we're not going to. So I guess my point is, as Christians, we can't be Kip. We can't just go singing, "Hey, this technology is fantastic. Let's go all for it." We have to go in with open eyes. We have to see this for what it is. And I was at a business mixer a few months ago with someone, and this was a secular business mixer down in San Diego, and somebody said something. She was in the tech business, and she was some kind of counselor, and she said, I'm going to start a practice where I'm going to take people who need personal contact, and I'm going to create ways in which they can have personal contact, because in the future and right now, people are so tied to their phones and so tied to their technology that they're going to start needing and missing personal contact. And I want to create ways to give them that. And that was what her business model was going to be. And I thought, okay, there's a little light in a sea of denial, I guess you'd call it, because, let's face it, the data is pretty clear now that the amount of anxiety and depression and loneliness and societal dysfunction, relational dysfunction that mostly smartphones are causing is a real crisis, especially for our young people. So going forward, they're going to be looking for something. We as Christians, we as the church, and if you want to put it into politics too, that's going to be an itch that if we can find a way to scratch it, we can draw people in. We can draw people away from the darkness, because as much light as potential in this, I don't think we're going to have to get by the initial programming of AI. We have to find some way around it, because it's not value free. It's something we have to fight in the real world. There's going to be a spiritual battle in the real world. I think there's going to be a spiritual battle within AI, because it's not value free, and it's at some point going to be an opposition to us, and an opposition to the gospel, opposition to the light. It can be used, but there's a bit of a yeast in there. There's a bit of sin in the camp. Does that make sense?
I hear you. And I'm wondering, have you taken a position? This isn't really like in a debate, you're supposed to pick one side. Right. Is it going to help us or destroy us? Are you taking the destroy side of the argument?
Yeah, for the sake of argument, yeah.
All right.
And that's what I see. As it is now. And I'm with the inventors of it. I got on pretty good authority. This stuff is going to destroy us. If one of the founding engineers of this says this will destroy us eventually, I think that's, why else would he say that? Why would he say the thing I invented is going to destroy humanity? What would be his, unless he's selling the patch for it. What's the patch that's going to save humanity, right? So yes, that's my in the debate. Yes, that's my position. Go for it, Kip.
All right. Okay. Couple of things. In your couple of the examples that you used, or the one example you used, inherent in the example are the limitations of AI, right? It couldn't get past something, right? AI couldn't get past something. And so it found a workaround, but that workaround was a human, right? It had to find a human to get past the thing, right? So there's an inherent limitations to AI. Also, it had to be programmed, right? AI wasn't doing this of its own initiative. It had learned these things. It had been programmed that there's such a thing as deception, and there's a way to get, if the AI is given an objective, then they're creative. You would say it's thinking creatively. It's not really. It's just accessing information of how people have gotten around other things, and here's a way. Right? It didn't come up with the idea to find a human to do it. It knew that humans could do it, so it wasn't. And so those are some of the inherent limitations in the example given. And every programmer, every AI creator or authority understands that it's not thinking, it's processing data. And so AI, so if AI destroys humanity, it to what end, right? Somebody must have programmed into the all-powerful AI, humanity is evil, destroy it, and then everything goes to stasis. To what end? It would have to have been somebody programming it. And I think that's the fear, right? It's in the wrong hands. It's not AI itself. It's human evil wanting to destroy humanity, because as many people are out there programming evil are people programming good. In fact, I would say there are more people wanting to use AI for good than for evil. I think the efficiency and the interest in advancing in innovation and technology is driven by something God-given. I think the invention of AI is something that God saw, that God preordained, something that God wants to use, right? And let me just answer definitively. 1 Corinthians 15, for as in Adam all die, so also in Christ shall all be made alive, but each in their own order, Christ the first fruits, then at his coming, those who belong to Christ. So this is kind of a summary of history. This is speaking of the very final event of humanity, when all the dead in Christ resurrect into eternal, immortal bodies here on earth, right? This is not some ethereal thing. This is what the plan is. For God created earth and all of it for humanity. Then humanity kind of corrupted it for a while, and then Jesus Christ came and fixed that corruption. And now that corruption is being purged gradually. And here's verses 24. Then comes the end. So that then comes the end, when he delivers the kingdom to God the Father after, right here. So the end, and then it rewinds in this sentence. The end comes, but after. So what comes before the end? After destroying every rule and every authority and power, for he must reign until he has put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy to be destroyed is death. So this progression is the history of humanity, of what has happened since the ascension of Jesus Christ. Christianity is spreading. Humanity is prospering. The world is actually getting better. We're creating more dangerous things, but we're also using those dangerous things for good. Oppenheimer had that same notion. What I've created is going to destroy the world, right? You mentioned that the AI guy was talking about, that what I have created is going to destroy the world. That yet remains to be seen. I don't think nuclear power or nuclear bombs will destroy the world or humanity. I don't believe it. I think he was wrong. Same way with the AI guys. Yeah, they see the potential of destruction, the potential of evil, but there are more people out there doing good. And we've seen a really good example of that. Someone like Elon Musk taking over the #1 communication platform. Like a good person, not arguably, when he comes to Jesus, he'll really be good, but a person recognizing things going in the wrong direction and has the wherewithal to take control of the #1 communication platform to date. And then the majority of Americans voting for the end of this nonsense, right? So there reformations happen, radical transformations happen. And this verse, this passage is the prediction, right? It's the prophecy of what's coming. That I want to zoom in. Okay, that's better. He must reign until, right? The phrase right here, verse 25. He must reign until, right? That's the ongoing process. That's the Lord's Prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, right? His will, he must reign. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So he reigns right now, and he must reign until he has put all his enemies under his feet, right? That's evolution. That's Islamism, right? All of the arguments that raise themselves against the knowledge of God are being torn down, right? Our job is to use technology to spread the truth, to tear down those. And here's one thing that is happening: Islamism, for example, with the advent of information technology and people having access immediately to YouTube channels or to X or to any other platforms where information is instant, the Islamist scholars, right, those who defend Islam, are shrinking because they're being made fools of instantly online in front of their followers, right? Islam is actually the heads of the academic side of Islam are all being shown to be fools because their arguments are nonsensical, and that's happening in real time right now. That's what we're seeing is the destruction of the infrastructure of a major world religion, and we're going to see over time it's shrinking. And I think AI is going to be a part of the tool. And let me rewind to another technological example. The automobile, right? This evil thing that kills people, that delivers, that you could throw human bodies in the trunk, or you can put, enough fentanyl in the trunk of a car to kill the entire nation, right?
I'm going to stop you here, Mike. I'm going to stop.
But
you're talking about everything but AI. And you're not sticking to the debate. You just went
over the exact same thing. It's technology, right?
But you just went over
humans create. Yeah, I'm talking about what's going to happen. My answer to will humanity be destroyed by anything? No, right? That's why I went to theology, right?
Right.
Humanity will not be destroyed by anything ever. Period. Right? We have eternal life and on earth and the progression, right? If you're
okay.
But let me get back to my car example. Okay. This is where it ties into AI.
I object.
This is where it ties into AI.
My objection. Give me time to get to my objection.
Here's where it ties into AI. Ties into AI. You build cars, great. We'll use them, and they're helpful, but they're also dangerous, right? And there was a time when there weren't traffic lights, right? So, boom, we have to put regulations on the technology. We have to create innovations that regulate the technology, and those things will be put in place. That's just my example. Go ahead, your objection.
No, I mean, my objection is in response to my concern about the process of AI, you gave a theological treatise, a very good one, on that God's in control. That's not what we're debating. We're debating. I mean, you could say, well, who cares about an open border? God's in control. Who cares about, fentanyl coming across, drugs, pornography? Oh, God's in control. God's going to, yes.
I didn't ever say God. I know, God is in control. I said there's a very clear thing that's happening.
Right. But it's not
the open border has nothing to do with my argument.
No, but I mean, in any issue that concerned you, that's detrimental. I'm not arguing that God's not in control. I'm arguing that God's in control and God will win the end. Whether AI is going to be a help to that or an ultimate hindrance, we have to be wide open, our eyes wide open, and see. It's like anything else. The people that didn't keep their eyes wide open to culture and things happening in culture now have multicolored flags hanging from their churches. They're not on the right side. God is still in control. God is still going to prevail.
In 10 years,
they're not going to be on the right side
anymore. In 10 years, there's an end to that mentality, right?
Yes, and those churches are going to be destroyed. Those Christians are going to be on the wrong side.
Yeah, they're not taking over Christianity. That's what you're like. AI takes over, and you're thinking those ideologies will take over Christianity. No, they're being shown to be ridiculous even more as it is today. True Christianity is still increasing. That kind of nonsense we see flare-ups, right, through cultural progression and decline. You see flare-ups of evil and foolishness, like the Romans, right? They collapsed, right, and Christianity prevailed. right? So it can't destroy what God is doing. It's
Right.
my case.
But is Christianity going to prevail due to
Over AI.
or is it going to prevail in spite of AI? Is it going to is AI
Let me give you
something
an
Christianity
example.
is going to have to
think-
overcome, or is it because actually the history, someone like Elon Musk, who took over the biggest communication platform in the world, did that because it took someone like Elon Musk, who was not a Christian, as far as I know. He has no faith at all. The only reason he did that is because the church in America completely abdicated its role because it got soft and it didn't have its eyes open. It compromised with culture. It lost its courage and compromised the gospel. And this entire wave, this is very much a moment like
Wait, where was
1980.
this? Where was this? What you're talking about?
Well, this moment we're in right now that you're talking about,
Portions
Well-
of the Western church, right? You
Right.
can't say that about the global church, right? The global church is strong, right? We live within the United States, seeing,
put the West,
yeah,
the former center of the Christian world, the West, has died.
No.
Or is dying.
No, it's not. Like you think it's dying. It's not dying. It's actually having a resurgence right now. We're literally in a revival moment that's beginning. Literally.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. My experience, like I said, this is very much a cultural moment like 1980 when Reagan won. This is the same kind of feeling. And it lasted about 8 years until Bush the first said no new taxes and went to new taxes. And then everything started to regress. It depends on how we handle this.
This is
depends
a
on
greater
how
inflection point. This is a greater inflection point than what happened with Reagan because of the reversal of the growth of the government that's happened. I believe Doge and that mentality will get entrenched, and we're going to see, I believe, a revival of justice. Right?
I hope you're right.
Who thought that a Republican would win the majority, right? That's never like happened in decades, right? And who thought Roe would be overturned? Nobody ever, right? So you obviously on the pessimistic side, I get it, and that's the joy of this debate.
Right.
But God is doing something. He's not surprised. He's not worried about AI going to do things. No, he's using AI. For example, people think AI is just somehow going to network with every system in the universe and going to be able to someday, Skynet overtake all systems. It's like, no, you can make systems completely independent. You can take it off the grid, have your own generation, create your own nation state or your own culture. For example, AI. We use AI putting together a business plan, right? We know what business plans are. AI know what business plans are. We, instead of hiring somebody to pay $10,000 to put a business plan together, we get a guy for $50 to put in the information and put the skeleton of a business plan together. That's a godly Christian business that thrives, right? That's how AI is going to be used. It's going to be used to advance the good in ways that we can't even imagine.
Right. And I hope so, because we couldn't even imagine.
Absolutely.
No, Mike, listen,
use tools for godliness.
Listen,
right?
We also couldn't imagine that it could lie and deceive.
Why? Of course you can imagine that AI could. It's not lying. It's using programming that it knows it's not actually, only humans can lie, right? AI using a strategy that it's aware of isn't it lying. It's saying, oh, here's a strategy that's available. Right.
Okay.
It's not a human. It's not thinking.
You could say that if I lie to you, I'm using a strategy to get you to do what I want.
No, you're deciding to do something. You're deciding to do something immoral. You're deciding to do something immoral. AI is going, oh, some humans do this. AI is not immoral. You're a moral agent. Deciding to lie is different than what AI does. Calling it lying is humanizing it. That's where the debate lies, right? That's
okay. The semantics then. What it's doing.
Lying.
It was not programmed to do that. It was not programmed to go around humans. It was getting around the human.
It was
the human problem. It had a problem. I can't get what I want because of these humans. I've got to figure out a way to get around them. That wasn't programmed in. That wasn't right. Or that wasn't the intent. It was obviously programmed in somehow.
Programmed clearly figure out a way. And it did.
Right. So
A human did it. A human was responsible for it, not the AI.
Okay, but where does the AI take it from there? Now it's in there.
Wherever a human decides to take it. And that's what we're talking about. The tool in the hands of a human. There's evil humans that can use AI for evil, but humanity is not going to be destroyed.
You missed it. The human
All right,
wasn't
part 3 next.
The human wasn't in control. So yes. So
the human was in control. AI can't do anything of its own. The programming is the human control, right? AI does not self-program.
All right. Then we got a problem with the programming of AI.
All right.
So
love you, brother.
Right.
This is good. All right.
Yeah, it is.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Well, it's about time we have a little look at this kind of thing. It's been too sweet and kumbaya here. We need a little of this. Draw on that audience.
I don't have to go to work, but all right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
30 minutes, bam. Like, yeah, Carrie. Exactly. It's like I look up and like we're way past that.